Hey guys, good morning. On the way to the gym. I'm gonna lift and then hit yoga. Gentle flow today. So normally with gentle flow we're on the floor the whole time. I like vinyasa too. I do vinyasa tomorrow, but today's gentle flow. We're gonna take the long way to the gym. No highway because this topic is probably gonna take a little bit of time. So it'll be a lot of red lights, green lights, but I wanted to get this out. I love doing these videos because it allows me to talk. I know, right? Don't I talk all day with content? I don't have friends. Like, if you've been following me for a while, I've been very open about that. I don't have any friends in my life. I was never a social butterfly in the first place, let's just be clear. I've always been very introverted to begin with, but the quote-unquote friends that I had, I lost them when I started working for myself. When I started my self-development journey, that's when I started, basically transforming my life. And so I've been pretty isolated these past 4 years. I've been a full-time entrepreneur for 5. And so that very first year of entrepreneurship, I lost the few friends that I had in my life. And I've had people come in my life and leave since then, but I'm just saying, I've lived a pretty isolated life. And one of the things that hurts me the most is when you let people into your life, you approach the friendship, situationship, whatever, you approach it open, right? I think the beauty of self-development is you don't hold on to the past. You know what I mean? Like, you don't, let's just not be vague. Let's just, you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to make it generalized, but I feel like I'm gonna just end up confusing myself and confusing you. I don't let past traumas prevent me from having new experiences with people. How about that? So, how sometimes you might get into a relationship, friendship, or whatever, and because they've dealt with XYZ in the past, they're so closed off to anything current, you know what I mean? Because they're still holding on to past traumas. I don't do that. And the only reason why I'm able to not do that now is because I've healed myself from things. I go to counseling. I am very self-aware. There's still things that I know I need to work on, right? So I don't hold on to negative friendship traumas and carry that into new friendships. That's what I'm trying to say. So any relationship that becomes new to me, I'm open. I'm open-minded. I'm not closed off. I'm not gonna project. I'm open, I'm aware, and I'm ready to see where this goes, right? And so, I've had people come in and out of my life. One of the things, since being an entrepreneur, one of the things though that I would say hurts me the most is when you try to be authentic with someone, and I know I'm blessed. I know I'm blessed. And I'm not even just talking about material things, that too, but my energy is a blessing, right? My mindset is a blessing. I know I'm not judgmental, at all. I don't care what you got going on. You know what I'm saying? I don't judge you, because I got shit with me too. I dropped my mint. I got shit with me too. I have been through stuff. I have had broke days, even since being a full-time entrepreneur. I have had broke days where I didn't even know how I was going to pay my rent. I have had broke months where I'm trying to figure out if I should pay my rent or my car payment. I've had that stuff. I'm not bougie with it. Everybody got shit with them. And I understand that, just like I got shit with me. And this video is a projection, by the way. A projection is just how I see the world, through the lens of my mind. So I'm not judgmental, and I know I'm very motivational. I'm very inspirational. I know that. This is not just a facade for the internet and my content. No, that's really who I am in real life, okay? I've come a long way with who I am. And one thing that I pride myself on today is the fact that most of the time I am able to handle my emotions. I am able to control my emotions. That's a standard that I have set for myself, and I hold it to the highest regard. Even if I'm upset, I try my best to not go crazy, to not start the hollering, the cursing. But as you try to level up and you're trying to do different, right? You're trying to be better. You're trying to self-develop. If there's anyone in your life that can pull that toxic trait of not being able to control your emotions, if they're able to pull that out of you, you need to reevaluate that whole friendship. What do I mean? Sometimes certain people in your life, whether they're new people, old people, doesn't matter, they want a reaction out of you, right? They know you're trying to be better. They know you're trying to be great. They know that you're trying to improve yourself. You are really getting a handle on your life. They know that. They see it through your everyday routine. They want a reaction out of you. And they are willing to do what it takes to get it out of you. Now, I'm not sitting here pointing blame because, for instance, for me, I understand at the end of the day, I have full control over my emotions. If I need to walk away, then I should just say I'm going to walk away, right? I shouldn't, right? I need to walk away, revisit this conversation when I'm more calm, okay? And even though I'm able to do that most times, sometimes I'm not. That's why I said I pride myself in how far I've come with my anger, with my emotions, and going crazy, cursing, hollering, all the things. But if someone is in your life and they are able to pull that out of you, you need to evaluate that. And for me, this particular person has been able to do that for a while. I had to reevaluate that because there's a toxic energy. I'm not saying it's on their side or my side, but there's a toxic energy. And if every day you work extremely hard to try to, control your emotions, be a better person, focus on your purpose, focus on your business, and this person is able to pull these negative emotions out of you regularly, we have a problem. Because now that energy that you should be using for your self-development, for your business, for your life, is getting pulled and tugged to a relationship dynamic that's not even healthy for you. Sometimes I think, not sometimes, whether they're doing it consciously or not, there are a lot of energy vampires out here. You gotta beware. Energy vampires are people who they don't have any energy. They don't have a positive life like you. They don't have a positive mindset like you. They're not ambitious like you, like me. They don't feel good about themselves naturally. They have low energy. And so when they see someone like you, or like myself, who's working hard, every day you're just trying to be the best you can be. Every day you're smiling, you don't even have a reason to smile. Even if shit is going bad for you, you still find a reason to smile, like myself. They see that. They see that. They want that. And if you're not careful, people like that will say and do what they need to say and do to get a reaction out of you. Because if they can get you to react out of character, now they got all the energy they needed for the day. Now they got that ego boost. They got that confidence that they didn't have before your argument. You got to be careful with people like that. You really do. And my problem is giving people the benefit of the doubt. I told you guys I have struggled with that for a very long time. I'm getting better at it. But I always see people through the lens of how I see myself, which is in the highest regard. And even if they make a mistake, I would give them the benefit of the doubt, right? Even if they would do something that I personally wouldn't do, I still give them the benefit of the doubt. Or I would assume, that's just not how they meant it. Maybe I'm being oversensitive, overthinking, yada, 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 right? Well, sorry, y'all. You can't be like that. You can't be like that. Because if you're not careful, they will make you feel bad about yourself. And The reason why I wanted to bring this up is because this literally happened yesterday. This happened to me yesterday. And this person knows I hate being ignored. I think a lot of people do. It's human psychology. I think that's just a normal thing. Most people don't like to be ignored, right? But when they know that that's something that triggers you, it could be anything. But if they know it's what triggers you, they'll start something with you, and then they won't even allow you to say what you have to say, right? They'll start ignoring you. They'll gaslight you. They'll manipulate you. They'll try to reverse psychology you. Oh, I'm not going to tolerate arguing, or I'm not arguing with you. But they be the main ones arguing. Now, all of a sudden, because you want to stand up for yourself, now it's I don't want to argue with you. It's all like poking at the bear, right? And I'm human. You keep poking at me, I'm going to go off. I'm going to go off. Especially because you're not allowing me the opportunity to say what I want to say. Especially because we've had these type of arguments before. And this happened yesterday. And I got way too emotional. My control for my emotions disappeared. I was angry. I was crying. I was just saying things just to say things. Not like, I don't name call. It's not like that. I'm just saying, like, I'm just talking out my ass at this point. I never name call. That's not something I feel like I have to do. I've never felt the need to name call anyone. I've never been a name caller. Like, that's not how I fight. Because honestly, I feel like whatever you call somebody, that's just really how you feel about yourself. So it's never any name calling or anything like that. But I just lost control of my emotions. I completely lost control of my emotions. And this person stonewalled me. Like, they were deflecting, gaslighting, manipulating, using things that I normally say to keep myself in control. Now they're saying it to me. I lost control. And I lost control of my emotions to the point where I didn't even finish out what I had planned for the day. My energy, my feel-good energy was completely gone. It was gone. And I willingly gave it to this person. I gave my feel-good energy to this person. Energy vampire. This is somebody who is very insecure. I already knew that. This is somebody who lacks ambition. I already knew that. This is somebody who is lazy. I already knew that. Why do I even deal with this person? I don't know. But I gave my energy to them. I couldn't control my emotions. And after the interaction, I felt embarrassed. Once I calmed down, collected myself, and started reflecting, I felt embarrassed. I felt embarrassed for the fact that I hold myself to such a high standard. And the way I conducted myself in that moment does not align with the woman I'm trying to become. I was able to recognize that. I didn't need anyone to tell me that. I was able to tell myself that. And that's why I felt embarrassed. Because I'm like, wow, the version of Jasmine that I'm trying to become would never conduct herself that way. The version of Jasmine that I'm trying to become wouldn't even be dealing with this person. And so I felt extremely embarrassed. But my energy was gone. I wasn't able to, I didn't have the energy to create more content. I didn't have the energy to go on my evening walk. I just felt completely saddened. I felt completely misunderstood. I felt completely unheard. This person didn't even give me the opportunity to talk. And what I hate is when people want to argue via text messaging. I hate that. Because it's like, why do we have to text argue? Why can't we pick up the phone and have a conversation like adults? See, I didn't start hollering until I had already called, got sent to voicemail. Now the person is texting. Now they want to text. So I call again because I'm like, I'm I'm not arguing via text. I'm not doing that. Call again, get sent to voicemail. Then they start calling me names. Now I'm sending audios, right? And so I was just very disappointed in myself. Very disappointed in myself. This is why I tell y'all, and this is a reminder to myself, all these videos is just me, talking to you, but also talking to myself. You got to protect your energy. You got to treat it like gold. Yeah, you get your feel-good energy back. Like, I feel better today. Not 100%, but I do feel better. Because that's what keeps you going every day. It's your energy. It's how you see, it's how you feel about yourself. When you feel good about yourself, you do good things. When you don't feel good about yourself, you do bad things. And if you're not careful and if you don't guard your energy, you will literally give it to somebody who's been craving your attention and craving your energy because they don't have any energy of their own. They see you leveling up. They see you accomplishing great things. And that's what I'm saying. I'm also embarrassed with myself and the fact that I was tolerating things that I shouldn't have never tolerated in the first place. People who, they're there for you when you're going through something bad, but when you got good stuff going on, they're ignoring you, or they're downplaying it, or they can't just say good job. They can't just say I see you, right? It's stuff like that, and it makes me question, why am I even dealing with them? That's the thing, and that's how you know they're an energy vampire. If you got a question to yourself, why am I even dealing with this person? It's because you already know they're not adding anything to you. They're just taking away. They're literally just taking away from you. And when I self-reflected after that incident yesterday, I had to realize the reason why I'm dealing with this person, or was dealing with this person, was because I was craving connection. I don't have any friends. And so sometimes it would feel good to have someone to talk to. But you can't crave connection so much to where now you're losing yourself in the process. Your light is being dimmed in the process. You can't do that. It's not good for you. You deserve more than that. Right? Especially if you got that feel-good energy. Especially if you're showing up every day just trying to be a little bit better than you were yesterday. You can't be like that. You cannot be like that. I cannot be like that. And so I realized later on that evening, I don't like the person I am when I deal with this person. I don't like how this person makes me feel. I don't like the fact that I allow this person the ability to trigger me that much and pull me out of who I'm trying to be, my higher self. And that's what I told them. I sent the text and I was just like, I don't like who I am in this dynamic, and I don't want to do this anymore. And I meant it, and I'm standing on it. I'm standing on it because I don't like that. I don't like that. If you notice your character completely shifts when you're in certain environments or when you're dealing with certain people, that's not your tribe. That's not your tribe. People who are for you, people who are aligned with where you're going, they want the best for you. They shouldn't trigger you to the point where you're no longer yourself. That should not be that. Now, I understand you can have disagreements with people. Sure. Everyone's not going to agree with everything that you say or do. There's nothing wrong with that. But if it gets to the point where you have no control over your emotions because they're gaslighting you, manipulating you, stonewalling you, you gotta let it go. You gotta let it go. It's not healthy. That's not healthy. It's not cute. It's not healthy. The good does not outweigh the bad. It does not outweigh the bad. You have got to let that go. You gotta let it go. It's not doing anything for you. It's not bettering you. It's not doing anything for you. It's not pouring into you. It's just draining. It's toxic. It's negative. And then you leave the interactions feeling drained. You feel sad. Ask yourself, how do you feel before you interact with this person? And then how do you feel after you interact with that person? And that will tell you everything you need to know. Before I had that conversation with that person, or lack thereof, because they wanted to ignore me, I was feeling good. I was feeling positive. I was motivated. I was feeling amazing. After that interaction, I felt frustrated. I was sad. I felt undermined. I felt unseen. I felt embarrassed. All of my feel-good energy was gone. It was gone. Now I gotta take a couple of days to reel it back in. Like I said, I woke up pretty good today. Not 100%. Not 100%. Better than yesterday, sure, but not 100%. No, I would say I'm like at 75%. Your energy is gold. It is gold. And only the people who pour into you should be the people who get to access that energy, because they know how to receive your energy, and they know how to give energy back. You can't keep pouring into cups that are cracked. And that's what I felt like I was doing. Pouring into, like, my glass is full, and I'm pouring into a glass that has cracks in it. So they're just taking the energy and they have none to give. So it becomes very draining and toxic and just not good for my mental health. I don't like who I am when I deal with this person. Sure, we may have fun from time to time, but the bad definitely outweighs the good, for sure. But I think sometimes you, like, at least for myself, you see the good in people, or you see who they could be. You fall for the potential, or who they showed you they were, the first few times you met them, but that ain't really who they are. It's just the mask that they're wearing, right? And so it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. And it doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't necessarily make them a bad person. It just means you're just not good friends. The dynamic is just not healthy. It's just not healthy. You just don't get along. You don't get along, and that's okay. You don't have to. You don't have to deal with people just because they want to be in your life. You don't have to be somebody's friend. Stop. I had to realize you can't force connections. You can't force friendships. It just is what it is. And sometimes or a lot of times, you're just not aligned. You're just not aligned, and that's okay. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Just pulled up at the gym, gonna lift before yoga, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.